Greetings, we are here today to talk about how to play guitar from scratch, Volume 7, Arpeggios. I'm going to talk pretty quickly because I made another video and it was too long. So, what an arpeggio is just the notes of a chord played individually. A simplest way of an arpeggio is, let's say you're in the studio, you're in a band and you're just strumming a chord. And they say, could you arpeggiate that instead? What they really mean is just go. Maybe you might finger pick it. So it means just play the notes individually, don't strum them all at once. Another type of arpeggio is where you just play the notes really individually. That's a D major arpeggio. Here's a D chord. These are the three notes that go into making a D chord, the first, the third, and the fifth. If I was to play all the notes in the key of D as arpeggios, this is really playing all the chords in the key of D as arpeggios. It would be like this. Be a D major, then an E minor, then an F sharp minor, then a G major, then an A major, then a B minor, then a C sharp minor flat 5, Waxville. Then I'd end up on D again. Now there's one chord I would insert there because it's more common and popular in rock music, which is a C major instead of that C sharp minor flat 5, so it would go like this. There's that C major. So if you were playing Sweet Home Albuquerque, you wouldn't be playing it Sweet Home Albuquerque. You'd be playing Sweet Home Albuquerque. So it has an altered seventh, a flat 7 instead of a major 7th. So that's an important thing to know about if you're doing arpeggios for a key, is that minor flat 5 is really good in classical music, neoclassical, some shred stuff, some romantic stuff, maybe Latin music, but you don't hear it a whole lot. Some R&B, but you don't hear it a whole lot, and jazz, of course. Sorry, I can't play. So you'd hear in there a lot Western swing, perhaps. But rock and pop, not so much, really, unless it's an R&B pop thing. Okay, so another way of playing arpeggios is if I played a D right here, I could play just 3 notes in a row. That's a D major arpeggio. Perfectly right. I could play it like this. But I could also split it apart, so I play like a root and a 5 here, then throw the 3 up here on the B string, skipping the G string. And if I went through the chords, it sounds a little cooler. One person that's known for doing this kind of thing really well in modern rock guitar playing is Eric Johnson. And all the people that play like Eric Johnson, of course there's a lot of them out there. Some great guys that play, that just happen to incorporate Eric's style into their playing. Like everybody else, we all steal our riffs from everybody else. And because they're great riffs. So that's where you get to spread your arpeggio apart so it sounds more interesting. So here I'm going to play it up here. I'm going to play a 3rd here, a 5th here, and a root here. A little harder to get to, but kind of interesting. So now, if someone's playing a chord progression, you could play an arpeggio to every single chord in that song. If they play a wacky, and you can also typically play one scale. Like if it's Sweet Home Albuquerque, the guitar player played it in G, it's actually in D. It's one of those things. But you play a mixed Lydian scale. So I'm going to show you how I have a little loop here where I stuck a really wacky chord in. And so I'm going to show you, first I'll play arpeggios. Likewise, if I'm playing scales, Mixolydian. Then I have to go to C major. So when you have a wacky chord, you've got to switch your arpeggio for that chord, whatever that chord is. I'm using simple chords. It could be more in-depth. Like, let's say it's a 7th chord. Well, you could play, So I'm playing a root 5 here, then I'm playing a 3 and 7 up here. I could play it like this. That's kind of not what I usually do, but I usually add too many notes in that. But you could play it. That's a 3rd, a 5th, the 7th, and then you could play the 5 and the root up here. And that would be a different arpeggio than just going. Which would be just straight arpeggio. There's a lot of scales that we haven't gotten into, but we've already covered the major and minor pentatonic, the major and minor blues, and the 7 modes, and that's plenty of note selection. We're still on the note selection side of the equation. You've got two halves of lead guitar playing, really, note selection and phrasing. So we're still in note selection. And the whole idea of arpeggios is that you get to play, if I was to play a D arpeggio, I could extend it and go. Now there's something called sweeping, sweep arpeggio, and that's a little more advanced where you're doing like, and this hand here is going to go, miss that high note. So I'm dragging my handle, and I'm also kind of rolling this one to get, so it doesn't sound like I'm going like this. This is kind of a weird one for me to do. Then I'll jump up here to grab that D up high. So it sounds good. And then if I went to C, I could do a different chord shape. So there's different chord shapes involved here. Here's a D chord. I'm going to show you some quick chord vocabulary stuff. Here's a D, 3 notes on 3 strings. Got my 5th on the bottom, so my next one's going to have the root on the bottom right here. The next one's going to have the 3rd on the bottom right here. Then here I have one down here in this clump right here. I'm going to have my 3rd on the bottom. This is a C-shaped D chord. Then I'm back to an A-shaped D chord. Then back to an E-shaped D chord. And then I could have another C-shaped D chord, but I have the root on the bottom. So my next will have the 3rd on the bottom. This is part of a G shape. If I stretch it out, it's a G chord. Don't try that at home, unsupervised. You might need 911. It hurts at first. So this is actually a G-shaped one with a 3rd on the bottom, and then again I have my E shape with a 5 on the bottom. So then I can play, like this is a 6-string D chord, right? D over F sharp. So I can play this, just these 3, and it's 3rd on the bottom. So my next one's going to have the 5 on the bottom. This is a C shape. It's like this kind of C where you have like C over G, like the folk. So that would be right here, the 5 on the bottom. So the next one's going to have the root on the bottom. It's here again, and that's my G shape again. My E string keeps going out of tune. Time to change strings. So in note selection, you have arpeggios, and you can also imply chords. I'm going to show you something really quick for blues. Blues is based on 7th chords. So here's an A blues. There's an A 7th, then I play a D 7th, then an A 7th, then an A 7th, then a D 7th, then a D 7th, then an A 7th, then an A 7th, then an E 7th, then a D 7th, then an A 7th, then an E 7th. That's a 12-bar blues in the key of A. So I can do something where I can imply the chords by playing the 3rd and the 7 here. This is my 3rd, this is my 7. So when I go to this chord, it inverts, and this is my 7 down here and my 3rd up here. So I have A is right here with my third and my 7. Then I go to D, and this is my 7, this is my third. Back to A. When I go to E, I just move the D up. So if I just play this, I'm implying a blues chord progression because I'm implying 7th chords going in a 1-4-5 chord progression, which is what standard blues is. I mean, there's a lot more stuff. There's like 1, 6, 2, 5. But the standard is 1-4-5 12 bar. Every jam that you go to, someone's going to say, "Hey man, let's play a 1-4-5 12 bar in the key of A." Oh God. How about B flat for once? Anyway, so you can imply a chord without having to play all the notes of it. And really, when you're playing a chord, you don't need to play all the notes of every single chord. You can leave out some notes sometimes. Like here's the 7th chord that only has 3 notes instead of 4. But it sure sounds like an A 7th chord, I just don't have an A in it. At the beginning of Stormy Monday, they use this chord, which people say, "Oh, that's a half diminished chord." Actually, it's the implication of a G 9th chord, just doesn't have a G in it. So you don't have to play all the notes of a chord in an arpeggio or in a chord. And once again, play the appropriate scale for the chord progression that you're doing. If you're doing like a Sweet Home Albuquerque or Dear Mr. Fantasy or Sweet Child of Mine, any of those D, C, G chords, that's Mixolydian because it has a flat 7. It's a major scale with a flat 7, but we went over that, so you should know that. So anyway, I know this is getting long, so I'm going to curtail this right now so it's not like the last one, which was too big. So I hope this is of help to you. This is guitar playing from scratch. You've been playing for a long time. I'm sure you know all this stuff. So please do me a favor. Subscribe to my channel, okay? Because I'm doing all these free guitar lessons. It'll help me out if you do that. You won't get pestered or anything like that. And then if you could hit the like button on any of these videos, if you get like even this much out of it, hit the like button. That would be a really nice thing. So you guys stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.